Hey guys, James Buckley here, coming to you from my home office here in Cedar Grove, Tennessee. And guys, I am the creator of JamesABuckley.com and Divine Insight for Prosperity. And guys, in this video, I want to talk to you about something in reference to prospecting and recruiting. You're going to want to always have an understanding of how to effectively talk to your potential prospects and your potential clients. And definitely, I'm going to give you 10 rules here that's going to be relevant for you to learn in reference to how you be able to be a conversationalist when you're talking to potential business partners. So you want to learn this because if you're talking to people and you really see that they are a target audience type of person, when I say target audience, that means not just because they fog up a mirror that they are targeted. No, they have to be people that has an interest in something that you have to be able to solve a problem they currently have or address a need. So I'm going to give you 10 rules that's going to be essential for you to learn to be able to create a connection with people without any hassle. So stay tuned. It's going to be good information. All right. The first thing you really is got to really understand in communication with anybody in relation to not just business but in relation to life is you got to be genuinely interested in people. So that means if you got a personality that positions you as an introvert, then you got to work on this skill about being genuinely interested in people. You got to be able to find out more about that person through a conversation in relation to how your product or your service can really assist them. So that's the first thing you got to do is be genuinely interested in people or in that particular person. And when you do that, you can really break down any areas of distrust because you're just talking to a human being. And then you can relate to what and how your product can solve a problem or address a need that they have. And number two is this. Always focus on the positives. When I say focus on the positive, it's like when you are talking to people, the most common thing that people want to hear is their name. So if you're talking to them and you find out their name and you're positive with your mental attitude, you're able to connect with them more relevantly. And when you relevantly connect with people, you have an interest to be positive. You always want to keep a positive mental attitude. That's number two. And number three is always converse and not debate. You know, when you begin to talk to people and if they are a little bit anti-salesy, and most people are, you don't want to debate or argue with. You don't want to try to convince them. Where there might be some differences in your conversation, agree to disagree. You know, you can agree or disagree with someone in a more relevant manner by just saying, I totally agree. Although, have you looked at it this way? Always have what they call a comeback question that you can respond to somebody when you are talking to them in a relevant manner of agreement. That's number three. And number four is this. R-E-S-E-P-C-T. R-E-S-E-P-C-T, that's respect. Always respect the person's views because a lot of times it's all about communicating with people and educating them. And sometimes their views, their money blueprint or something like that, it might not be irrelevant to where you are in your business mindset. Definitely always be able to talk to them and be able to share with them in reference to what you're talking about, of respecting them and not imposing upon their space. Give them space. Always not be married to the outcome, but be married to the process. That's number four. Number five is put the person in their best light. And when I say in their best light, what you always want to be complimentary to the person. Complimentary, being authentic. Don't be unauthentic, because if you be unauthentic, they'll be able to read right through it. But you always want to compliment or be able to put the person in another's pleasant likeness. You know, when you talk about a person, for an example, when you're talking to that person, you say, well, you know what? You seem like you're a pretty sharp person. You probably could do good in this business model. You know, when you say that to somebody, well, they might even come back, what makes you think that? And you can say, well, I could tell, you know, you by your language skills, you're a pretty sharp cookie. You know, something like that. You just being able to being authentic about what you're saying to them, and you're being able to put them in a more lighted state. They can be more confident about who they are when they're talking to you. That's number 5. And number 6 is this. Always embrace differences. You're going to have differences, but always embrace them and not try to annihilate any differences. If you embrace the differences and then speak about the commonalities, you know, that's going to make a whole lot of difference in communication. Something that you have in common with that person. Or, do you like this? And they say, respond back, yeah, I happen to like whatever the case may be. You come up with your own analogy. Just try different things. Practice with somebody. But definitely, always embrace difficulties, but build on commonalities. That's number 6. And number 7 is this. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Always be willing to share your own thoughts. If they ask you about statistics, the statistics say that network marketers, only 1 or 2% make money. You agree, it goes back to the 4th one I said, you'll be in agreement, you're exactly right. Because most people won't put in the hard work. Based on what you just said, related to the question you may have asked them, you come right back, be true to yourself, you're exactly right. Most people won't put in the hard work, but based on what you just said, are you willing to put in the hard work? That's number 7. And number 8 is this. They call it the 50-50 rule. When you're talking to somebody, you ask the questions, but you let them talk. Don't dominate the conversation. And that's hard for an open personality person to do. They got to definitely be mindful that they don't dominate the conversation, but they be open and they ask the question and they let the person answer it. They ask the question and let the person answer it. You be able to do a 50-50 exchange of what you're asking and what you're listening on, and then be genuinely listening to where you can hear something that might move the person toward making a common decision based on the information that you're giving them. That's number 8. And number 9 is this. This is key. 9 is ask purposed questions. What are your goals for this year? What influenced you to start looking at a business model like this? You know, when you ask that question, you're listening to see what they have to answer. If you ask meaningful questions, it'll elicit meaningful answers. So ask questions, but be able to know that the questions you ask is going to bring forth an elicit meaning when they really respond. Able to hear what they're saying and be able to say, based on what you just said, then you can frame what they said in the form of, when do you see yourself getting started? Those type of things are very essential when you're talking about communication. And the number 10 is this. Always have a give and take attitude. This is key. Give and take. When you're talking to people, you always got to give them something and then be willing to take in response what they say. And if you need to elaborate on what they say, always say, what do you mean by that? See, when you take in response on what they said and you ask them, what do you mean by that? Now you're ready to take in response of what they actually meant about that. When you do that, you are really having a conversation that's going to be opening to the heart of a person, and they're going to see that you're genuinely interested in them, that you're giving them an opportunity to find out exactly how this is going to be a match for them, and at the end of the day, you'll see that your conversations will be more and more relevant to the prospect, and you can be a more conversationalist as you practice these on a day-to-day basis. I hope it's been some help to you. If you have, like, share, and comment. If you have not yet subscribed to my video channel, go ahead and hit that subscription button. And definitely, somewhere in the scope of this video, 25 questions you can ask in prospecting. by clicking on the link somewhere in the description or in the scope of this video. Guys, this is James Buckley. I hope it's been some help to you. Always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video, being able to give you tips, strategies, concepts, and personal development on how you can brand yourself, get more leads and more sales. Always work harder on you than you do on your job. You can win in this thing. This is James Buckley. I'm signing off. You take care. God bless. See you at the top. Bye for now.